like to give a couple of minutes to the committee. Bob?
Thank you, sir.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bob Norris, and I am a candidate to be your sheriff. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak before you this evening. I appreciate it very much. Now, I've got some good news and not so good news. What do you want to hear first? You already say the good news? Let's do the bad news. Let's do the not so good news. I'm from California. Yes, I know. The rumors are true. I am from California. However, right here in this room, right now, there are many good, solid conservatives that are from California. So all I ask you to do is to give me an opportunity to prove myself to be one of those good, solid conservatives. Now for the good news. I'm from California. I know. How can that be both good and bad? Well, I'll tell you. When I was a little boy, we had a governor that you may have heard of, and his name was Ronald Reagan. And that was a solid red state back then. And I have seen over the years what liberal policies have done to destroy that state, and to the point where we have third world diseases that we haven't seen in decades, if not a century. Liberal policies and that playbook is being played out right here in Kootenai County. I'd like to talk to you just about three things fairly quickly, and some of my experiences with the federal government, the Constitution, and the office. When I was a young deputy, the city manager pulled me aside and said, you know, we got 8 blocks of this housing area that many years ago we received federal monies. The city manager's name was Gary Sloan. He says, a large part of our budget now goes towards this. The other residents in the city are paying hidden taxes because of some grants that were given to the city to provide low-income housing many years prior to. What did he do? He said, you know what? I'm tired of spending the money. I'm tired of the hidden taxes for all the other residents, and I'm tired of the poor quality of life. So he got rid of them. Absolutely got rid of them. Over time, paid for the original purchase and money saved. Quality of life went up, and he really helped that community. Another, on a more personal note, known individual who when printers first came out, the colored printers, he was putting faces on some U.S. currency, and 2 Secret Service agents got wind of it, approached him, and they acted like they were from the cartel. And they said, we'd like for you to print some money for us. He goes, you know what, I'm just doing this for fun. He goes, I just, put different faces, and this is not a big deal. He goes, no, you don't understand. We're from the cartel. We want you to make some money for us. You know, Johnny, does he still go to school around the corner? Does your wife still work at the hospital? He perceived that as a threat. And absolutely, what he had to do, he felt under duress that he printed this money. They arrested him, charged him, prosecuted him, and on the stand, the federal agent says, yeah, we made those references to where the son is and where the wife is, where the wife goes to work. But we didn't think it was a threat. Destroyed the man, from bankruptcies to relationships, absolutely destroyed him. So I see what the federal government wants to do when they want to act towards individuals. Look at Roger Stone, 26 agents to serve a warrant on a process crime. Give me a break. I'd like to talk to you about the Constitution and specifically your Second Amendment right and your right to due process. Right now, get a pen out, and I want you to write down the red flag laws that I support. 0. Absolutely 0. Why? Because it's a Second Amendment right and it's due process. I support 0. I have seen communities that have restricted gun laws, and it criminalizes the law-abiding people. And it decriminalizes bad guys using the guns. So I support zero. Like you're talking about the sheriff's office. As many of you know, or some of you may, that I'm a member of the Search and Rescue Team. And I'll tell you, I've had retired and active and men and women that have come to me over the years and say, hey, we've got some serious problems on the sheriff's office. Many of them have asked for confidentiality, and we don't have a lot of time to go into them tonight. But I will tell you that we have significant issues. And just to give you an idea, the sheriff's own son has made it publicly known that he left the organization to go to the Coeur d'Alene Police Department, and the whole thing wasn't because of money. The sheriff's own son says, you know what, I'm leaving the organization, but it's not just because of money. We elect a sheriff to protect our rights and to protect us. And if you have a sheriff that is overconsumed with an organization, he's not going to be able to do that. I have been a department head. I have been inserted as a department head. I have taken organizations from scratch and built them, and I have absorbed organizations. So thank you for your opportunity to seek your support in the Republican primary to be your nominee.
Thank you. Does the committee have any questions for candidate Whitehead?
Okay, sure.
Norris.
And I am not 63 years old.
I'm sorry about that. My apologies. Go ahead.
Commissioner Duncan has suggested that the Kootenai County Fairgrounds would be a good place to expand the incarceration facility. What's your position on that?
You know what? I have heard about this idea, proposal. I haven't had the opportunity to really evaluate the pros and cons. So I really don't have a position on it right now. But I appreciate the advice. Thanks.
Randy?
So there's an emerging movement in Kootenai County, Health Freedom, Idaho, that's kind of countering this trend of the weaponization of child protective services for use in the culture wars. So you may have heard of a couple instances at Kootenai Health where CPS has been called on the parents because the parents disagreed with the course of treatment. Right, they wanted to go home after a couple days in the hospital. The hospital wanted to keep them for a third day, and this has happened a few times. It's not my area of expertise, but Sheriff Wheeler in Bonner County said explicitly to the Central Committee there that in instances of the weaponization of CPS, he would personally interpose himself between CPS and a family. I would trust John Green and Richard Whitehead to do the same thing, but I'd like to know.
You can trust three people then.
Okay.
Absolutely, I would. We have something called patients' rights in this country, and absolutely, you can trust one other candidate to do that.
It's good to hear.
I'm sorry. Mr. Rasmus? Did you have a question?
I thought I heard you backpedal over there, and I don't like it. Did I hear you say that you hadn't made a decision on the prison release center?
No, he asked on the moving county facilities to the fairgrounds. No.
I'm wondering about the prison release center.
Okay, it's no. It's been no, it's no today, and it'll be no tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'm against it. Yeah, he was asking about moving county facilities to the fairgrounds.
I guess I've got bad hearing. I apologize.
What's that?
I have bad hearing.
Yes, sir. My read of the Constitution, and I would take it you would consider yourself an originalist or a textualist. Is that true?
Yes.
As the primary law enforcement officer in this county, would you look at the Constitution first if you were asked or enforced by a federal agency to go beyond what you deem to be the constraints of the Constitution in your county?
100%, absolutely. And I was asked that by a prominent Republican here in Kootenai County, and my answer was the same then, it's the same now, and it'll be the same tomorrow.
Seymour?
There's a lot of people running for sheriff. What would you say, can you tell us why we would vote for you over the other ones? What makes you stand out from the other
Well,
ones?
I am the only candidate in this field that has both worked, supervised, and managed law enforcement assets in two of the biggest functions here at the Kootenai County Jail. Patrol and custody, jail. Not from the inside, but from the outside. So I've worked the jail and patrol. No other candidate can say that.
And Mr. Gruber, and then one more, and we'll be done. Go ahead.
Right here. You said you have 30 years experience, and that was with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's
Yes.
Department, but to the low-informed voters out there who are looking at that and looking at you as search and rescue, some may construe that to mean you got 30 years with Kootenai County, okay? Just to avoid any matters of deception, with that experience with search and rescue, you said in the past that you know the inner workings of the agency, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. How many call-outs have you been on search and rescue?
Six.
About six?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And are you currently a member right now?
I sure am.
Okay.
Yeah, I've taken a little bit of a, my sergeant said, I'm gonna be a little busy, because you know what, we already talked about it with the team, we understand you're gonna be busy from now until May.
Yeah, the only concern is, you've been to 6 call-outs, but to say that you really know that agency inside and out could cause some to think maybe that's not the case, and that was the concern here.
Well, certain disciplines require additional training. I don't do snowmobile, okay, but do we train on a monthly basis? Do we train sometimes on a weekly basis? Absolutely we do.
Okay.
But I haven't done the snowmobile, hasn't really interested me, but
Okay.
my ground pounder and my ATV certified, absolutely.
Okay, we're just trying to avoid the appearance of a deception. It's not really,
Thank you. We're time constrained here. Ms. Thurman?
Just a quick question, Truman. How many years have you been in Kootenai County?
I have purchased my home in 2013 and had some issues that were beyond my control. My son's mother passed away in the same year. My intent was to move up here full-time and start my life here. As many of us do, we travel back and forth from work, as there was another lieutenant that did the same thing. And then about 2016, I spent a lot more time down there because he was having some difficulty. So purchased my home in 13, been here ever since. 2016, I did spend a lot more time in Southern California.
Mr. Broadway?
Bob, I too lived in the southern part of the occupied zone. And, I had opportunity to know how LASO operated.
Yes.
And there were 2 departments down there that were held in high regard or great fear by the bad guys, and that was LASO and Torrance PD. So how do you see a difference between how LASO operates and what you think should be going on with the Kootenai County SO?
I seem to think that the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office is a department of service. I do believe that their deputies go out there, answer their calls for service, and they service the community. And what my plan is, within the 6 months, is to have a series of town hall meetings. And in these town hall meetings in the community, I'm going to bring in the community. And I'm gonna ask them what their concerns and then what their issues are. And I'm gonna ask them what their experiences have been. Because whatever their issues and concerns are going to be my issues and concerns. and it's gonna be the department's issues and concerns. So, there was a time where we didn't really think like that in law enforcement agencies, and especially on the sheriff's office. But I'll tell you, it wasn't until we started bringing in the community to the extent that they want to be brought into, did we see an improvement in relations, and did we see crime go down.
Thank you. And Mr. Barron, you have the last question.
All right, thank you. I have a similar question on the difference between LA County and Kootenai. I've come from the inner city and I've seen good law enforcement and I've seen law enforcement who are corrupt bullies. In Kootenai County, people may not be aware, there was an officer that served here for 8 years, went over to Spokane County, and I'm not asking you to have an absolute, but I'm asking for your idea of how you handle the situation. He went over to Spokane Valley County, or Spokane County, but they apparently pay more. And he was calling into the office and he said, on the radio, he says, I can't wait to get on shift tonight. I'm really looking forward to getting out there and killing some niggers. And that's a true story. So a couple of people heard him and eventually they got rid of him. But I realized that guy has been servicing my community while I lived here, and my kids cruise around with ATVs with BB guns on their back. And I didn't realize that he got fired from that job. Do you know of a regulation or statute that prevents Kootenai County from rehiring that deputy in Kootenai County? Or do you aware of any type, is there any norm, or is that something that we don't know?
Well, I wouldn't say there's a statute. However, during a background investigation, that should have been revealed, and that certainly would have been a cause for not hiring that individual. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.